this particular video that we're going to be responding to today, I thought about it. I actually pondered, would it even be worth, sitting through this and responding to. If you follow me on Twitter, you see that I actually quasi responded to it. I kind of did a thread on Twitter. Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, let me sleep on it. So I went to sleep, woke up, and I still feel like I need to respond to this. So here we are. We have a group of these wannabe EFAP guys. I believe one of them even was a part of EFAP, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken about that, but I don't think that I am. He was a part of EFAP. And they're doing the whole EFAP thing where they watch something and then they pause to talk about the thing, and they're doing it in like a Discord sort of chat sort of thing, like a live stream. So that's what we're going to be responding to today. And obviously these people are Parrots. They're watching my Go Woke, Go Broke video, and they very clearly disagree with it. So without any further ado, let's get into the madness.
If he's got a nice voice, we'll just sit back and relax.
And I have to fast forward through this a little bit because they go through like a little intro like I did with this video just now. So that part is irrelevant. But you do see people on the right above me here, the live stream chat talking shit about me. This is, as I said on Twitter, a congregation of Birdman antis. And also, I've seen a bit of this video already. I got up to about 15 minutes, and that's when I decided I should respond to it. But then again, I went to sleep and I did not respond. So here we go. Let me get to the point where my video actually starts.
General, let's get to the specifics and watch a video. Here we go.
Last year, a fiction film by Gareth Edwards named The Creator blew me away. The themes surrounding AI, a child savior, and a man trying to reunite with his lost lover are not exactly new to the genre, but the film's mix of all these elements combined to formulate a refreshing and original take. In my review, I noted that the film wasn't doing well at the...
I actually really like this video of mine. I know that sounds weird to say, but I watch a lot of my videos over and over and over, and this particular one, I enjoy watching over and over and over. And the reason I rewatch a lot of my work is due to me actually trying to self-correct. So I'm reanalyzing the arguments that I make with new context sometimes or new information. So this one, I think, is one of those that just stands the test of time. I think, because this video was made 3 months ago. Their response video was made 3 months ago. I forgot to mention that. But for me, this video is so poignant and on point. And I feel like this video is going to be one of my videos that 5-10 years from now will be very well received, at least in the future. So this is one of my favorite videos that I've done.
The box office, despite...
Well, he's making the first mistake. He's looking at the explosion.
Well, I mean, those numbers are not bad. They're not horrible, but they're not bad.
This part of the video is important. This part of their video is important because now pay attention. They are showing on the screen, me showing on the screen, the consensus for the film amongst people who've actually seen this film. That is going to be important later. Just keep that in mind.
Seems like he liked it.
But he's looking at the explosion.
Oh,
it's from the Rogue One guys.
Critics and the audience alike.
Okay.
I wish you guys would support films like this. A lot of you have told me.
See, I don't like this argument already. I wish you guys would like the things I like. Wait.
No. So this is something that I responded to on Twitter. I'm not asking people to like what I like. This is the problem that you have where you pause before I can continue saying what it is that I'm trying to say. Okay. Obviously, the video is going to play and you'll get the context later. But the point that I was making here was that people have amongst the people that I've spoken to, and I'm speaking to my audience. I'm obviously live streaming here, guys. It's very clear. You can see there's the game on this side and then there's the chat on the far left side there. I'm speaking to an audience. And in this context, I have talked to my audience and I've asked them. Actually, I made a video about this. You remember the in defense of the MCU video that I made? I conducted a poll where I asked people, are you still interested in the MCU? And a lot of the responses that I got was that no, some people are not. They're tired of the superhero genre and la-di-da-di-da. So in this particular live stream, what I was saying was, you guys have told me that you're tired of the superhero genre. You want more original movies. Here's an original movie. And for some reason, you guys aren't going to go see it. When I talked about it in the live stream, nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about. So my point here was simply, you're asking for original films, but you're not going to original films. This is something I talked about on Twitter multiple times. This is something I feel passionate about. I am a film person. Like, that's what I do. I love film. I go see 3 to 4 movies a week. Sometimes I post about it. Sometimes I don't post about it, but then a lot of the times I'll post like proof that I'm at a movie theater. You can actually see my ticket, proof that I was there. Even if I don't review the film on my channel or even talk about it, it is proof that I was there. I go see all these original movies and I think that they're great. And I wish more people would go see them, but they don't. And most people go see a movie maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year, which sounds insane to those of us that are like in this space, because we go see movies every week, if not more, a movie or 2 or 3 every week like I do. What I was simply trying to communicate here was, you guys have told me you want more original films, but when the original films get made, you don't go see them. That's the point that I was making. This guy, for whatever reason, thinks I'm saying you need to like what I like. I never said that. Like, I don't understand how people have videographic evidence. Like, you're literally watching a video and then you said something completely different to what I said. What? Like, literally replay what I said. I wish you guys would support movies like these. Support movies with an S like these.
Maybe it's a good film to him, and he has to explain himself. I don't know. He just said he liked it. That's all we know.
The question with these things is always, how many other things have you seen?
And again, that's a question that is easily answered by doing the most cursory research you could on me. Like, do a little bit of research. My Twitter is right there on the screen. You can click on that and see that I see a fuck ton of movies. I'm pretty sure I go see more movies than all of these guys combined. Like, in a month. Show us your ticket stubs, because mine are public. You have problems with like superhero movies taking over. This is one of those movies that's not that. It's an original IP. It's an original film. Why is this movie not doing numbers at the box office? You hear my argument?
You complain and say,
I don't give a crap about IP. I give a crap about...
Shut up. This particular guy annoys the fuck out of me. In the 15 minutes of this video that I watched, that particular dude is the worst. And it might have been a little bit more than 15, because like we're at like 12, and I know I saw a little bit more than this. It might have been like maybe 18, maybe 20 minutes. Let's say 20 minutes that I've watched this video. And in the 20 minutes that I've watched, that guy with the heavy accent, I can't really place his accent. I'm not sure where he's from. I don't know who he is. He annoyed me the most. He's the one that like, I'm like, oh, I gotta respond. I gotta respond to this guy, because like, I'm not gonna let this motherfucker say what the fuck he wants to say. But yeah, this particular guy is fucking annoying.
all these remakes and reboots, superhero movies, but then the original movies get made and nobody goes to see them. The film's protagonist and his love interest, a black man and an Asian woman, respectively, are relatively unique in big Hollywood productions, something I took note of in my own review of the film.
Not really.
Mainly because I've been writing my own story featuring those same demographics.
Not really, because that's the DEI bullshit of race mixing.
That's the DEI bullshit of race mixing. You're probably starting to understand why I consider him the most annoying so far. This motherfucker just sat here and said a hiring practice is responsible for race mixing. a hiring practice. I think these people forget what DEI actually stands for, and it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay. This is the basis for diversity training in a business. And you know what annoys me about this is something that, people from my own community, the Black community, are going to have a problem with me saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. There is no such thing as race. There's the human race. Okay. Remember, I'm very scientifically minded. Like, this is my whole thing is science, facts, logic, reason. Oh, and math. In science, there's no such thing as different races. It's not a thing. Okay. A different race means a different species. It's another word for a species. The species is what allows something to breed. So, for example, a poodle could theoretically mate with a Great Dane because they are the same species, right? But a poodle could not mate with a horse because they are a different species. This means I can have sex with your mom and give you a sibling. Bad accent guy. That means we are the same race. And, there's a reason why, like, my community doesn't really like that. It's a whole thing that I won't really get into. But what most people, when they talk about race, they're really talking about culture and phenotypes. And there are phenotypical differences between human beings. For example, I am brown skin, whereas the person that is on the other end of this is probably not, right? So like there are different phenotypes, like, you have different nose shapes, different eye colors, eye shapes. You can have an epicanthic fold if you're Asian, like things like that. There are phenotypical differences between human beings. Yes, just like there are phenotypical differences between dogs, right? A poodle looks different than a boxer, and they both look different to a greyhound, and they all three of those look different to the Irish wolfhound. But they're all still dogs, and they all can still breed with each other. Now, culture is a thing, that's just based on your geographic location and the history of that geographic location. Culture is a thing, absolutely. Phenotypical differences are a thing, absolutely. Races are not. Sorry. Now, I know what they'll probably go with is that the hiring of the actors is what is DEI, because, DEI is in a business context, right? So the problem with that is we're talking about John David fucking Washington, a pretty big A-list star. He was in Tenet. Christopher Nolan hired him for the protagonist, which was literally the name of the character. So was it DEI then? Why is just the inclusion of Black people at all DEI for you? Like, what does that even mean? That just means that Black people can't be hired at all, ever, because it would be DEI, right? Because what you're saying just doesn't make sense. Like, think about the context of this film. We have a big A-list star, the son of fucking Denzel Washington, and he has talent. Why wouldn't you want to hire him? So, as I showed on Twitter, he was the first actor hired for this gig. The first, number one. Then they said, well, we want to film this film on location. And every single location they talked about was in Asia. Typically in Asia, there's going to be a lot of Asian people. You know what I mean? So the protagonist, the first actor they hired, fell in love with an Asian woman. And they wound up getting married. I'm trying to figure out the DEI here because it seems like it fit the story they were trying to tell. You have a protagonist, you want to tell a love story, and it is set in Asia. But we got John David Washington because he's a big fucking star. He was just in a big Christopher Nolan film. We want him. But for you people, it's never about talent. I had to respond to another fucking guy that talked about the Black woman that was in the Minecraft film. And apparently she just can't be in movies because, like, if she's in a movie, it's DEI. Except for the fact that, she was an Oscar nominee. She's actually really fucking good at what she does. For you people, it's never talent. It's always some fucking agenda. And that's why I hate you motherfuckers. I can't stand you bitches. What's so insidious about you people, it's you always go Black people, queer people, women, all the non-straight white male groups. They're pawns in some sort of board game that is played against you. So like, you know, the inclusion of these people, it's to attack you instead of the fact that, hey, these people just might be talented. Ever thought of that? But again, like this annoys me because it's like the context of the film, it just totally makes sense. Gareth literally said he wanted to make a movie on location, and the locations that he chose were all Asia. So the story obviously has to take place with Asians, and there's going to be a lot of Asian people. And then boom, the protagonist is a black guy. So it's going to be a love story. Like there is no DEI here, even if that's what you want to call DEI. Like that just doesn't even make sense. And then this lunatic goes off on a little fucking tangent about Finn and Rose, I believe, from episode, what is it, 8? Star Wars. They always got to go back to Star Wars. It's always Star Wars with these fucking idiots. And how, you know, that was a bad thing. Obviously, the other guy that I responded to said this, a very similar thing. He was like, well, Finn didn't get to go with the pretty white girl. He had to go with the ugly Asian girl. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? Gemma Chan ain't ugly. And that's really your problem. I think that's the problem, is that there's certain white guys that think that Asian women belong to them. And, you know, I'm going to say this, okay, like don't take this the wrong way, Asian women who watch my videos, which aren't very many. The ones that are in like the West, like America, Australia, the UK, etc., they typically do like go for white guys, but not in Asia. Not in Asia. Don't get me wrong. There are some that are like in white guys in Asia. Like, don't get that twisted. But like in Asia, the vast majority of Asian women go for Asian guys. That's just what it is. You know, I've been there. I know a little bit about that. That's all I'm going to say on that.
If you ask any of the media grift or their parrots why that movie failed, you'll likely come away with stuff like this.
Before you know it, Taylor and his team are deep behind enemy lines and managed.
Okay, so Critical Drinker's a grifter?
Did he just mention the parents of the grifters, quote unquote? What do they have to do with this?
Nothing, you idiot. I said parrots. Parrot. Parrot, not parents. You know, I take offense to that because, like, I take great pride in my diction. It's something that is comes in handy as a voice actor, which I am. So whenever I'm behind a mic, I am taking my time when speaking. Like in these video essays, I speak in a way that's like measured and in control. Like there's a specific cadence that I have when I am speaking in these videos, and it's on purpose. It's so that you can, you know, hang on to every word. You can hear exactly what it is I'm trying to say, that I'm not putting too much emotion into the words, so that like I'm not swaying you based on emotion, and I'm trying to just give you the actual thing that I'm saying, right? So it's a technique that voice actors use, and I'm using it very much on purpose in these videos. So it's weird to me that, and it's kind of offensive to me, right? In like a funny sense. I'm not being like, you know, overly serious here, but it's a little offensive to me when I take very measured approach to the way that I'm speaking in these video essays. And these people just parents. I didn't say parent. I said parrot, which is what you people are. You are all parrots.
Not
Well,
the
can we
parents.
can we define what grifter means?
He hasn't done so. Yeah, we don't know.
Oh shit!
For context, this video was made 3 months ago. This was before I did actually make the video on me defining grifter. And again, this is my point of that video. The grifter video, the when I defined it, was that for some reason I assumed we all knew what a media grifter was. I guess I was just being a little too idealistic and too optimistic, right? But the thing is, these people are playing stupid. That's really the thing here. But their audience probably can't tell. They're just being, you know, silly. They know what we mean when we say grifter. But what they're trying to do, and And that's really the whole point of this fucking video that I made, right? What they're trying to do is have a very rigid and narrow definition of the word grifter, so that it doesn't apply to them and people like them, right? But for some reason, pay attention to what we're talking about. We're talking about go woke, go broke, right? Woke is a word that had a very specific and narrow definition. It's Black American slang. My people made that up. My culture, I should say. Then they took it and bastardized it and made it extremely broad, and that the word means whatever they want it to mean, right? Like, for some reason, woke it's like a catch-all phrase for anything that they don't like, anything that's not straight white male, right? Like that's what woke means to them. Somehow they want to be very narrow and focused and rigid with the word grifter. See the hypocrisy here? Yeah, I do.
We'll stay with the original meaning, the objective meaning, which is somebody who holds an opinion that he or peddles an opinion that he doesn't actually hold for personal gain.
The irony is this motherfucker just bastardized the acronym DEI. The irony of him doing this. That's why I can't stand this motherfucker.
And with the problem with Drinker is that
we don't care. We know what the problem with Drinker is.
Star Wars, as stated by Lucas himself, is an homage to the Vietnam War.
You did something very interesting with Star Wars, if you think about it. The good guy...
Yeah, but that's an homage. Does it mean that's the theme or the focus?
My dude, this right here is exactly why you let someone's full point play out before you pause. There's a very specific, like, this is a video essay, okay? I don't know what English school you guys went to, but the ones I went to said that you have a thesis, that you have a thesis statement at the beginning, and then you use evidence to support that thesis. And that will be the body of your essay, to be the paragraphs supporting your thesis and your thesis statement. Okay. So in video essay form, I will say something and then show evidence for that thing. And that's what this was. And you stopped it before the evidence could come through to interject with your bullshit. This is why this format fucking sucks. This format is not conducive to like an intellectual pursuit. And that's really what this is. You know, we're talking about media literacy here, and to expose the people that are profiting off of like the culture war surrounding conversations and discourse about film. But for some reason, you guys just like you don't have maybe the schooling or the education or the knowledge to understand what is actually occurring in something like a video essay. OK, but again, he paused before the evidence disproves what he said. Like I said, this is something that George Lucas, this is a theme he tried to include into the Star Wars films. And then I then get ready to show evidence of that. And then he pauses it and goes, well, that's just an homage. That's not really what it was. Bro, shut up and let it play. Shut the fuck up and listen to what happens first and then respond. Because you might not actually have a response after you've seen the evidence.
It's like saying, oh, I'm making a car in the shape of a Ferrari. It's like, yeah, but you're not making a Ferrari.
What a fucking stupid example. I'm skipping this. Let's get forward. Because, like, holy fuck, that was dumb.
I think we call those guys terrorists today. We call them Mujahideen. We call them Al-Qaeda.
When I did it, they were Viet Cong.
Exactly. So were you thinking of that at the time?
Yes. All of those are bad groups, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, okay. So, again, it's this fucking dude that I can't stand. But here's the thing. First of all, whether somebody is bad is a subjective statement, okay? From their perspective, they weren't bad. From your perspective, they are. Whatever. That's not even close to the point that George was making. It's not even close to the point that I'm making with including this clip. The point I'm making is here's a theme that George was injecting into his films. Someone actually wrote a comment on my video about this particular thing, and they said something similar to what this fucking weirdo said. Well, those guys are bad. Well, That's really not even the point. The point is, from George's perspective, it's the little guy versus the big guy. And that's the overarching theme of Star Wars. And this is why someone watching like Rogue One or any of the Star Wars films could pick up on, well, yeah, it's the Rebel Alliance versus the Empire. It's the little guy versus the big guy. It's very similar to the Vietnam War, where the little guys, were able to hold off the bigger guys. That's the point. And right over these fucking guys' heads. Well, those guys are bad. You thought you said something. You didn't say anything, you fucking idiot. Shut up and actually listen to what the fuck people are saying before you pause and interject with your dumbass opinion.
Somehow doesn't realize that Rogue One also fits the Vietnam War comparison, and that's likely why the creator feels familiar, but I digress. Drinker's review of this movie is totally fine, and I agree with a lot.
So, you're okay with it? All right.
So you're the grifter too?
He misses the point, but I agree with him.
Yeah, this is a weird... He's wrong on all these points, but he's okay. Like, all right.
He's a grifter, but I agree with everything he says.
Once again, pausing before I make my point. Imagine this for a second, okay? Imagine this. I say, I like the color blue, but my favorite color is red. Full sentence, right? And I'm going to give you some context for that full sentence. In every instance, like you see me, I drive a red car. I wear the color red very often. I have a video on the color red. I talk about red a lot. But what these guys just did is the equivalent of going, I like blue, and then pausing. Well, what? But everything you do is red. You have a red car. You have a video about red. You talk about red all the time. Red is obviously your favorite color, dude. Why are you saying blue is your favorite color? That's exactly what they just did to me just now. I like blue, comma, but my favorite color is red. They stopped it at the comma, and they didn't get the rest of what I was trying to say. Here, obviously, I'm saying Drinker's review on this particular film is fine, but, and then I go on to explain what it is I'm trying to explain. This is the problem with this format. This is why this is dumb.
But did you notice the problem he had with a girl being the key to everything? This is the problem, and how...
You hear how I say, this is the problem. If you wouldn't have paused, you'd have heard that. This is the problem. Jinkies. And I'm skipping this part because they go into a whole spiel about like misunderstanding what I said. It's not important. I don't really feel like I need to respond to this. And then they misunderstand the Trojan horse that I put on the screen here. So let's just continue.
Look at what people who definitely consume this type of media analysis thought of the creator. You might think I've been unfair to the critical drinker recently. I want you to keep that in mind when you look at these comments made by people who have the benefit of sharing their real opinions because they can hide behind their anonymity. Look at just how uncanny some of these posts are to Drinker's own oft-repeated words. Similar to Drinker's position on the people the Riddler killed in The Batman, this person thinks every white person in the movie is a villain. But that's just not true, as the protagonist's friend is white, and he literally dies trying to help him. One of the film's recurring antagonists is an Indian. But it gets worse. On that same page, you see people express...
Looked more Arab, but okay.
And I showed this on Twitter. Again, this fucking guy. I got to come up with a nickname for this fucking dude because, like, I don't know any of these guys. I know the SmudBoy, Smud, whatever the fuck. That's the only one I know by name. The other three I don't know. But I got to come up with some fucking nickname for this dude because he is frustrating to listen to. Anyway, he paused the video to say, oh, but he looks more Arab than anything, but okay. What the fuck is the value in something like that? It wasn't entertaining. Nobody laughed. None of the chat actually reacted to it. What was the point of that? There's no point. He looks Arab, but okay. Like, you're so insular. Like, you racists. You're so insular. Like, you motherfuckers have no clue about anything other than your little general vicinity. And that's why you're racist. That's why you're a piece of shit. That's why you call, people that you don't know, an Arab. The guy's clearly Indian. I said he was Indian in the video. You think I'm putting out like inaccurate information in my videos? You think I would do that? A person who calls out people for putting inaccurate information out into the internet. You think I would do that? I mean, there's always the possibility that I'm wrong. Just going, he looks more Arab than anything. Like, that's not a fact check. Like, actually do the research and find out if he's Arab, because this was fucking pointless. But this is what you guys do. Because you disagree with the thesis of this video that go woke, go broke is not a real thing. You have to disagree with me at every turn. You just have to. I'm your enemy. And you have to, like, everything that I say has to be wrong, right? You like the color green. If I say green's a great color, no, green fucking sucks because he said it. That's how you treat people like me. And that's what this was here. Just irrelevant, but you had to do it because you have to disagree with me at every fucking turn. You're a fucking loser.
And that the film is woke exclusively because the main actor is black. This is the legacy of people.
If the main character is black and his friend is white and dies trying to help him, that's just the reverse trope that Hollywood does, where the black guy is the friend who dies trying to help.
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard what he said? What an absolutely abysmal life this person must lead. He sees black people in roles that they shouldn't be in, and all of a sudden it's political, it's a bad thing, we have to analyze it. There's a reason why a black person is in a thing, besides the fact that he just might be talented and he might be the perfect person for the role. He might even be the person that the director had in mind for the role. I mean, like when you look at Ryan Coogler's films, there's a reason why Michael B. Jordan is in like every film he makes. He has him in mind when he writes these characters. That is a thing. But for some reason, these people, it's always political. It's always, they're doing the reverse racism thing. I don't have any proof of that. That's just what I think. These people think that minority groups are pawns in a game against them. That's what they think.
This guy's saying the cast was bad. He liked the movie for the CG, and the story was abysmal. So he doesn't care about this white guy or this black guy. He's like, the cast just wasn't working. Yeah.
No, dude. Like, oh my God. Like, do you think that I put images on the screen for a lot of people do, I think. I think a lot of people just think I put images on the screen for my fucking health and to pass the time while I'm speaking. That's not the reason this image is on the screen, numbnuts. Actually read it. I guess I needed to hold this guy's hand and highlight exactly what I'm showing. In the third paragraph of this image, you can clearly see it is woke. Why else do you think J.D. Washington gets a role? He's an incredibly poor actor. These are just false. And this was already seen in Tenet. He was bad in Tenet. I've seen it all now. That was the reason why this image is on the screen. Remember, guys, I'm saying that these people are repeating the things that the critical drinker says. And the things that the critical drinker says is, well, this woman or this black character or this whatever the fuck is here because of wokeness. And it's right there on the screen. It is woke. Why else do you think John David Washington gets a role? Because he's talented, dickhead. But that's his argument, is that it's woke. The movie is woke. The creator, remember, that's what we're talking about. That's the context. The creator is woke because there's a black main character. That's his argument. That's it. He thinks he was a bad actor in Tenet. And like, look at the justification. He is stoic, can deliver dialogues. Like, he's literally arguing for John David. He doesn't even realize it. And then he starts arguing against him. Acts worse than a high schooler in a musical. And the only reason he's even in the industry might be because of DEI. No, he's in the industry because of fucking nepotism, which is a non-color thing. There are so many, Jack Quaid is in the industry because of Dennis Quaid. He hates his father, but he's a Nepo baby. Like, he's a white guy, right? So nepotism is not a colored thing. But Denzel Washington is a very, prolific actor. He had a son who is an actor. You probably want to hire him because he probably taught his son the tricks of the trade. So he's a Nepo baby. I'll give you that. But he might be in the industry because of DEI is a ridiculous fucking take. And exactly the thing that I'm arguing against and exactly what that fucking weirdo with the accent that I can't place said earlier. That's the fucking point of this.
So it doesn't really matter what the problem is. If it pops in your face, go, this does not feel good, or if this does not feel right. Why is that?
If a black person appearing on screen does not feel good or feel right for you, you're probably a racist. I don't like the word because, like I said, there's no such thing as race, or there is a human race, right? But like, it's the best word that we have, and that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, you're probably just a racist. It doesn't feel right that this guy's on screen. What the fuck does that even mean? Do you think you could do a better job because you're white? What?
And you list all these reasons, and part of that is, you have this diverse cast for no reason.
You have this diverse cast for no reason. Oh my God, dude. How can I make it through this video? Like, this is going to be insane. You have this diverse cast for no reason. For no reason. Okay, even if you want to say that DEI is a thing, that like they use DEI in film, hiring for films, that would be a reason, dipshit. It's not a reason that you like, but it is a reason. First of all. Second of all, that's not how acting works. I'm an actor, okay? I do voice acting. I get innumerable amount of auditions. I'm not chosen all the time. They can't see me. When you do an audition for a voice role, it's 100% an audio file. I get hired for some. I don't get hired for all. Being in the industry, you see a very different side than the people who are not in this industry. And if you're not in this industry, you don't know how insane it is, the amount of people applying for a job. Unless a role is written specifically for a particular actor, they had to audition. Like, you will see like some of the greatest actors of all time get passed over because they just didn't audition well, or they auditioned well, but like another person fit the role better. I have a unique insight into this because I actually do this. And, you know, I put out, I can't show you because of NDAs, but like, if I showed you some of my auditions, you'd be like, wow, why the fuck didn't they hire him for this? Because somebody was just better, or somebody just fit the role better, or somebody just like, you know, they sounded a certain way that this person wanted. That's how it works. And there's so many talented human beings on this planet. So many. And you have to go up against every single one of them for that one role. That's how auditioning for a role works. They're not just hiring people because, oh yeah, we got to have a fat girl. We got to have a black man. We got to have a gay person. Like, that's not how that works. It's just not. I could show you, like, let me pull up my Actors Access. All right, so here's my Actors Access. This is breakdown services. This is what you see as an actor. You get like the breakdowns for these. So I'm going to show you, this is just in LA, right, where I live. And I'm going to show you exactly what a breakdown looks like, okay? So like, this is just like a random one that I clicked on. It says right here, Dr. Bob. So this is the role that they're casting for. Hopefully my camera's not in the way. This is Dr. Bob, 50 to 60-year-old white man. If you're not in that age range, if you're not white, if you're not a man, don't apply to this role, basically. Okay. Then you have one right here, 38 to 45 years old, white woman. 1930s classic look. Obviously, this looks like a period piece. Doesn't give us any more information other than that, right? This is a non-union project, obviously, because they're only paying you $15. This is, yeah, I wouldn't apply to this. Well, first of all, I don't fit the demographic that they're asking for, but you get my point, right? Like they show you what they're looking for. And then right here, woman, it says woman, 30 to 50 years old, all ethnicities. So this is how a breakdown works. They will say what they're looking for. And then people who fit that look will apply for that. And then there you go. Let me show you another one just to prove the point. Here's another one. It's a horror feature film. This one is $50 a day. This is a non-union. So like whenever you see like non-union stuff right here, it'll typically be lower paid than like the union work, right? But this website does have union work as well. So I'm just clicking random ones. So this one's $50 a day, blah, blah, blah. Right here, the role is for Bobby, and they're asking for male, white, 18 plus to play someone between the ages of 15 and 22. You must be 18. Height should be 4'11 through 5'4. And then they describe the character even more. This is what a breakdown actually looks like. For those of you not in the industry, this is what the industry actually looks like, guys. It's not, we're having a diversity quota. We need to have people that fit this type, fit that type, fit that type. No, they look for very specific things. Very specific. I'll show you another one. And this one is important to me because this is a voiceover role, which is my bread and butter, right? So this is for an English voiceover for a mobile story game, right? No motion cap required, only voiceover localization. Look at the difference between what I just showed you and this one right here. They're looking for Argentinian actors. Obviously, they're looking for someone with the ability to speak Spanish and have the Argentinian Spanish accent. But boom, all genders, all ethnicities. Why? Because it's a voice acting role. You're not going to appear on screen. They don't care what you look like. They only care what you sound like. There you go. That's how this works. You don't know what you're talking about. You really need to stop. So that was up to the point that I had seen in the video. We're now at the point where I don't know anything. Like this was where I stopped on Twitter. So all of this will be new to me. So let's get to it.
This is the exact sentiment Will Jordan teaches people to look for in his videos, and that's why his comments on the girl being the key to everything stands out. So when these media grifters express ideas like go woke, go broke, you can bet these ideas will take root and become
It's not an idea, it's an
before he says it's not an idea, I want to point out that I show parrots on the screen here and they still didn't get that I was referring to the birds, the parrots. You know, there's a reason I call these people parrots. And if you don't know, I explained it in an earlier video, but basically it's a term that I coined, let's say that now, because I've already done this, to refer to these kinds of people. Not people that just parrot, things. That's not like somebody tried to argue against me. They were like, you're not coining that term. We've been using parrots like this for. No, you haven't. OK, because my version of the word parrot, it's a proper noun. It's the capital P. OK, it's referring very specifically to people who parrot the actual term that you've been using forever. Grifter talking points, specifically for people who parrot grifter talking points. Like these motherfuckers. These are parrots, baby grifters, if you will. You want to that's what I mean. Wannabe grifters, especially people who have a platform and are making videos on these types of topics. That's what I'm talking about. Baby grifters, parrots. That's why I'm showing parrots on the screen.
An observation of a pattern. We've seen it for over a decade.
Here's another stupid fucking colloquialism: pattern recognition. These people think they're the only people that notice patterns. Well, we're noticing patterns about you. Hence the parrots on the screen right now.
You can't call that an opinion because it's observed fact.
Ooh. Yeah, that's not how facts work, buddy. First of all, pattern recognition is something that is ingrained into the human DNA. It's a biological thing. This is why people see like Jesus's face in a piece of toast. Like you're biologically predisposed to seeing patterns, especially patterns that aren't there. Again, like the guy earlier said that, seeing John David Washington means that this was DI or it is woke because this black guy's in a thing. No. See, that's the pattern recognition that you're talking about right now. Right. But he's wrong because he was the first actor hired, which means he very clearly was at the top of the list, or he auditioned extremely well. Like, that's the point. It's like he wasn't hired because of DEI. He wasn't hired because of diversity quotas or whatever the fuck you guys want to say. He was hired because he's good. He was hired because that's who they wanted. So your pattern recognition just failed, meaning it's not an observable fact.
You know the pattern, so you know that. So one of these patterns is when you go woke, you will go broke.
Oof. And, you know, that's really the focus of this video. I'm glad he said that right before watching this video, because I clearly disproved that. Remember, he said it's an observable fact. That's what he said. So this means that they believe when something goes, quote unquote, woke, that it does go broke. But when I show evidence of things not going broke, then that means your observable fact is only true sometimes, right? But like that's not the quote. It's not go woke, go broke sometimes. It's a cute saying, but it just doesn't map onto reality, and I show evidence against this. And I'm actually looking at the chat. You can't see it. Let me take away my camera for just a quick second. So right there, it says the Bridman will probably make a response to this. Guy has a very fragile ego. I wonder why they always say ego when I respond to you. Like, am I not allowed to respond? Like, okay, I'm arguing against something these people believe. They responded to me. Does that mean that they have a fragile ego? Why is it only big bad Birdman, you know, when I do a thing that these people are doing to me? That's just, I never get that. That's just a little thing. But yeah, it's something I see over and over. The guy has a fragile ego. Actually, I really don't. I let a lot of shit slide, dude. Like a lot of shit. There's just sometimes I feel compelled to respond to certain things.
Maybe not immediately, but you will make less profit. And eventually, your business will shut down because you will not make profit.
All right, look, I know in the video I make this point, but Apple, biggest company on earth, completely and utterly a DEI thing, right? They don't they have the quote unquote diversity quotas that you guys say is detrimental to a company's business? Why hasn't Apple gone broke? Apple's very clearly woke, very fucking clearly. It's right here. This is the I and D in DEI, inclusion and diversity. We belong together. We're continuing to create a culture of inclusion, increasing representation across teams, and holding ourselves accountable at every level because belonging takes all of us. Let's scroll down. Inclusion that reflects the world around us. They're clearly talking about gender here. They're making sure they have the diversity quotas. They have enough females to the male ratio, right? Let's look at the AMR, the APAC, the EMEIA. Look at those numbers. Race and ethnicity. They're making sure that they have the diversity. You got 9.2% black, 14% Hispanic, 30% Asian. Representation makes a world of difference. Obviously, Apple is woke, okay? Somehow, though, Apple remains the number one company on Earth. Explain it. Explain that.
It's a bad product because what is woke? Woke is so...
Oh, God. I don't... Listen, as a Black American, I take offense to someone with an accent like yours trying to explain woke. You don't know what woke means. You really need to shut the absolute fuck up. You don't know what it means. And again, this word is so broadly defined by you people. It has no actual real definition from you. It's very nebulous. Woke means to be aware. Of course it does, because that's what the word woke means. Dude, what's the opposite of being woke? Sleep. When you're asleep, you're not aware of your surroundings because you're asleep. And actually, I'm surprised this hasn't caught on. Black people also say sleep in the same connotation as woke, or the opposite connotation of woke. There are a few of these, and I'm just giving y'all a game right now, right? There's a few of these. Kanye West in a song said, "Nigga, you ain't up on this."
Then I spent $400 on this just to be like, nigga, you ain't up on this.
Ain't up on this. Probably don't know what the fuck I just said. We understand. It's the same thing as being woke. If you're up on something, it means you're woke. You understand it. You got it. You're aware. And in that same connotation, when you say you ain't up on this, we'll say, oh, bro, you sleep. You sleep. That's what it means. It's woke. Like it's literally a corruption of awake, the opposite of sleep, which means to be aware. And in the context that Black people used it, it was to be aware of like racial injustices, be aware of like the CIA coming in and fucking up our community. That's the context in which we used it. Somehow you guys took it and bastardized it. And you're about to say something completely different to what the fuck I just said. Guaranteed. Let's take a listen.
Because what is woke? Woke is socialist propaganda.
Woke is socialist propaganda. Propaganda. Notice how, what does the word sleep mean? You know, your body goes unconscious, goes into a state of repairing the muscles and things like that. That's what sleep is for. In that particular instance, you're not aware. You're not aware of your surroundings. People could do things to you you wouldn't know. Woke means you're not asleep. You are aware of what people are doing to you. You're aware of what's going on. And by the way, when the Black Panthers were using woke, it was very real. COINTELPRO is a real thing. They did infiltrate and assassinate Black leaders. They did do that. Like, that's public record now. So when they were saying woke, they were aware of these things. And it was true. It wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was real. So for you to say that this is socialist propaganda is insane to me. It's insane to me. That's what I'm saying. You specifically pissed me off.
I guess the 60s or 70s with the concept of social justice and then how that evolved over time until the...
Although the entire term social justice is really just a euphemism for socialism.
It's a euphemism for socialism. I don't want to get into politics here because I couldn't care less about political arguments. But this guy just doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay. Social justice is the advocation for people who are maligned in society. That's it. That's what it means. That's it. Like what when you boil this shit down to the way that he's trying to do here, you're essentially saying that there is no racism, there is no sexism, there is no homophobia and transphobia and things like that. That's what you're saying. To say what you just said is saying that there was no racism, there is no racism. Like that's just blatantly false. Like aren't you guys arguing that there's racism against white people? Guess what, motherfucker? You're woke. That's what it means. To be aware of injustices to people like you. That's what the word means. You're woke. Congratulations. You are exactly what you hate. Dumbass.
There's a lot.
Because if you put a modifier, if you put a mutator in front of the word justice, it's not justice anymore. It's a corruption of justice immediately.
I don't know about that. I mean, like, I that's something I would have to ponder for a second. I'm pretty sure I can think of examples where that just is just aggressively fucking wrong. No, I mean, an adjective describes something, to be more specific. I'm pretty sure there are many. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. I'm just like, I'm kind of amped at this video, but I'm pretty sure there are going to be people in the comment section that give us more examples. Again, it's just an adjective. And an adjective is meant to be, it's meant to provide specificity, okay? To be specific, right? Like, I'm a human. Well, what kind of human am I? I'm an American. Well, what kind of American am I? I'm a Black American. Oh, you see how you get more specific the more adjectives you add? That's all that is. So to suggest that putting an adjective in front of the word justice is a corruption of justice is just blatantly fucking smooth brain. Dude, your brain is so fucking smooth. They can fucking ice skate on that thing. Like, Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of things happening since the 2009s. I'm trying to remember the exact moment where we were like, okay, this is noticeable, at least in Canada. And then we had progressivism take off and with the liberals, and that's been that way for almost a decade now. So
no, I'm sorry, son. Progressivism has always been a thing. It's always been a thing. I'm not even like a political channel, right? Like, I don't talk politics. I'm not into that whole thing. I like talking about film. I like talking about fiction. Like, that's where I lay my hat. But it's clear to me that I know more about politics than these guys do. He just said progressivism took over in the last decade in Canada. First of all, no, the fuck it didn't. If you ever advocated for any type of social change, that's progressivism. Progress. You think progress only started 10 years ago? What are you... It's insane. Abraham Lincoln advocated for the freedom of slaves here in America. That was progressive. That's progressive. That's older than you, your mom, your grandma, her grandma. Like, that was progressive way back then. It wasn't just 10 years. Like, I would be on a whole ass spiel if I responded to every fucking thing these guys say, because they are so incredibly wrong. It's not even funny.
2009 in Germany, I'd say the time.
He's German. That's the accent. I could not place that accent to save my life. Jesus. All right. German dude.
When you were within politics, active within politics, 2009 would be the time when you'd start to notice it. Outside of politics, it's more like 2011 to 13.
See, this is, what a privilege to be white. To just not have to engage with like social progress. Like, you know what I mean? These motherfuckers believe, they actually believe progress started in 2009 and 2011, 2013. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? My people have been fighting for progressive ideals since slavery. Harriet Tubman freed some slaves, right? She was a progressive. Like, that's what that means. Again, this is all stuff older than all of us. Like, if you combined all of our ages, it would be older than that. When you're forced to engage with something, like, you think that's when it started. It's like, no. Women were fighting for the right to vote. First wave of feminism. That was progressive. What year do you think that was? Because it damn the fuck sure wasn't 2009.
Yeah, I think that would, you remember like the Twitter stuff.
Oh my God, can we just get to my video, please? I don't want to do politics. Come on, man.
Let's examine the veracity.
Uh-oh.
Finally, after fucking 5 minutes.
Really, motherfucker? Look at Charles' video. Look at Charles. We are literally 45 fucking minutes in. And you're just now getting to the meat of the video. And you want to say after 5? Are you kidding me?
With the game that isn't out, that a whole nation despises.
Ooh, you're just wrong. I love this. Like, this is my area. Japan. I know that sounds weird coming from a Black American. That these people don't know, right? But those of you who watch me, y'all know this is my area. I've been to Japan many times. I know a lot about Japan. I study Japanese culture. I even speak the fucking language. Trust me when I say Japanese people don't give a flying fuck about this game. The vast majority of them don't even know it exists. Those who do are interested in it. Because in this video, I show in Japan, this game was the #1 pre-ordered video game in Japan. I had multiple sources on that. So I love this. This German dude thinks he knows anything about Japan. I promise you he doesn't.
Can you imagine?
United China, Japan, and
United China? What does China have to do with this? And it united China and Japan against this game? No, it didn't. Okay. Because what happened is it's a bunch of you fucking trolls that are pretending to be Japanese on Twitter. And you're using Google Translate to, bash the game. That got exposed. And I obviously speak Japanese and I can read and write Japanese. And I know when someone is using Google Translate, because you got there's a very specific way of speaking that Japanese people do online, in person, whatever, that is not represented by Google Translate. Now, there is a translator that is very natural. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, though. You have to figure that out for yourself. Because I don't want to give you guys the ability to become trolls and to look like real trolls, or to look like real people on Twitter. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna gatekeep here. But anyway, yeah, no, this is not a thing. This is not real. Just you have to trust me on that, bro.
Oh no, not
This
German.
could potentially be one of the most important get woke, go broke situations we have seen. So we are talking about Colin Kaepernick and Nike. Nike just revealed that he is the face of its Just Do It campaign. If that is not a social justice, political pandering move,
Dude, Nike now makes hijabs with the
This guy really does not like Muslims. He called that guy Muslim earlier, even though he was Indian, and he's like, Nike makes hijabs. So, and they're in the business to make money. Muslims have money. Why not, do something for their religion that would help you make money?
Really?
the little tick on it, which is funny because Nike or Nike is a Greek goddess, so that would mean that the Islamic women who put on that oppressive headdress were a symbol of another god. That is so haram you couldn't make it.
First of all, Nike is an American company, and I know the Brits like to call it Nike, which is very weird to me. I'm like, the first time I heard Nike, I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Anyway, Nike does not have any symbolism of the Greek goddess anymore, or ever. Like, there's no symbol. The Nike check is not a Greek goddess symbol. Nike has a hijab. That's haram because, like, in the past, the word Nike meant a Greek goddess. Like, shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot.
Okay, not marketing, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
I guess this motherfucker just forgot they make shoes. Like, that's how they started out. They started making running shoes. Hello. You think Muslims don't wear Nikes?
What's a demographic that steals Nike shoes constantly? It's usually the people that vote for the woke stuff.
Yeah,
he's very clearly demonstrating that he's a racist. This would have been one of the Hitler Youth. This German guy, if he was born in the 1920s or the 1910s, he'd have definitely been one of the Hitler Youth.
I can't believe it. I don't know what they're thinking. It's hilarious, and it's also
How is he a clown?
Face palming at the same time.
In
That's
a
his
previous
opinion.
video, try listening, you fucking idiot. How is he a clown? Maybe I'm going to make that point. Maybe I'm going to explain it. How about that, dipshit?
I did what grifters and parrots could not do and
Oh, wow.
correctly define the word woke. In short, it is Black American slang that means to be socially conscious and aware.
Yeah, that is still the same thing. It's just that it's spread further out.
Yeah, that's like 100 years ago.
And
It will never not be the funniest of ironies that the people who obviously don't want to call trans women women They'll be very rigid. They're like, woman doesn't mean that word. And then when presented with the very same thing, oh, well, the word woke has changed meaning. Yeah, so did the word woman, guys. You don't like that one, though. You don't like that.
Yeah, but it is the same thing. It was the same ideological garbage with the same talking points. Like, look here. The second sentence has the word racial injustice, which leads to racial justice.
That says beginning in the 2010s, it came to be used as slang for a broader awareness of social inequalities, such as racial injustice, right? This is how white people started using it. We never used it for that. Remember, this is our word. Read the first fucking thing right there. Woke is an adjective derived from African American vernacular English, originally meaning alertness to racial prejudice and discrimination. In the 2010s, you guys took it and bastardized it. That's what this article is saying. Go down a little bit further. The phrase "stay woke" has been present in AAVE since the 1930s. It's actually a little older than that. But let's go with the 1930s. 1930s. Now, we're about 5 years away from 2030. Are any of you close to 100 years old? No? That means this word predates you. It has been used for almost 100 years in a particular context, and you guys took it and bastardized it. That's the point here. I'm showing this because I'm correctly defining the word. I'm going to then later talk about how you guys use the word.
So which would be the correction. And racial justice is race socialism. Why?
Race socialism.
Because if you ask any German to translate racial justice,
no one cares what Germans think because this word is an American colloquialism. So who gives a shit what you think? Skip.
Their word games need to end. The only way we can turn the tide is by destroying their newspeak, by insisting on the real definitions. You need to take the language back, otherwise...
Motherfucker, you're German. What are you talking about? Do you know that English is an offshoot of the Germanic languages? Did you know that? Basically what you're saying is we need to abolish English, because it comes from the same group of family of languages that your language comes from. Black people have a culture, right? We had to develop it because we were forced here. My ancestors were forced here against their will. That's how culture happens, dude. You have enclaves of similar people and they start to speak similarly. They start to have similar foods. They start do certain things. That's culture. It's not race. I mean, because Black Americans are very different from Black Africans. Like a Nigerian person is very different than a Black American, who are also very different to a Black Ethiopian, who is different still to a Black Moroccan. It's culture. This is culture. Language is culture. We have our own version of English. And you guys steal words from our version of English and then bastardize them and then try to say stupid shit like, oh, this is TikTok talk. Get the fuck out of here. It's our words. But that's fine. You want to have your TikTok talk, make up new words. Maybe derive it from ours, but don't say words like woke, sus, cis, not CIS, SIS. That's black woman slang. They say shit like that. And y'all take the shit and then say, oh, it's TikTok talk. This is, no, miss me with that.
Or meaning that is related, but for the sake of brevity, that is the actual definition of woke. And this, of course, means that if what those people on Reddit said were true,
that's not even...
I love the German is trying to fucking tell the Black American about Black American English. I love that. That's amazing. No. Yes, motherfucker. Yes. That's our word. We created that. It's a corruption of the word awake. Woke. Get it? Stop trying to tell me about our language, my dude. You're not even American. What the fuck? Like, what are we doing here? That's like me trying to correct a Japanese person on Japanese. It's just not going to work. They know it better than I do. That's their culture. They came up with it. You dig what I'm saying? This just doesn't make sense. This guy trying to tell me what the fuck the word woke means. It's insane.
Obviously, this is not the way in which parrots and grifters use this term, and as they are incredibly shy about defining the word as they themselves are using it.
We've been defining it for a long time.
And some of these
Like
people are
Kanye
grifting because they use the word without defining it. Is that what they...
Holy fuck, Smud, shut up, dude. Just shut up and let the video play. God damn. Like, has he not learned so far that there are going to be things that I say and then I explain or prove those things? Has he not learned that yet?
What if it's just their opinion?
Yeah, you need to prove that they're dishonest about their opinions.
Yeah, and what are they...
You can't just claim it because you don't like their opinion.
And what...
Yeah, and I do that, guys. I'm not entirely sure if this is their first video on me because, like earlier, they mentioned, why does Birdman move from doing CinemaSins videos to this? It's like you have to know something about me, right?
What are they selling? Like this is the thing. If it's AdSense, well, you've got the same problem there, buddy. Everyone on YouTube is using AdSense if they want to. Is that it? Because I don't care what you put through that air through that hole in your mouth. If you're all saying stuff, we're all making money. What's the difference?
Yeah, it's become clear to me that like my first video in the series should have been the one where I defined the word grift, because I stupidly assumed we all knew what we were talking about. People have been using grifters to refer to these people for a very long time. I didn't start this. I think the Amazing Atheist called the Critical Drinker a grifter years ago. The Amazing Atheist had a problem with the Critical Drinker a while ago. He actually has videos with an S on this guy. To me, it's like if I say the word tsunami, right? We all know what that means. Tsunami. Hey, there's a tsunami coming. Get the fuck out the way. Like, you know what that word means. So I don't feel like I have to define the word tsunami because I feel like we all know what it means. So that's how I felt about the word grifter. I was like, we've been calling these people grifters for years. So I assumed everybody knew what we were talking about. Apparently not. But what I don't like about what Smud is doing here is he's not even giving me the space to explain myself. Again, pausing before I can finish. Like, let a thought come out first before you interject. That would be the best way to go about this.
Are you lying? Are you selling something? If they're not selling anything and you're not selling anything, where's the grift?
They are selling something, you numpty. What they are selling is outrage. Again, I provide examples that you won't even let me get to, but an example of a media grifter is somebody who looks at other people and go, okay, well, they're talking about wokeness in video games and movies and stuff like that. And they're getting a lot of views. They're making a lot of money. So let me try to get in on that. And what they'll do is they'll start making the same types of videos with the same types of thumbnails, and their entire personality online, will be this thing. So like you go to their Twitter and every fucking tweet, like they're not tweeting about their day, They're not tweeting about the latest film that they saw. Like, oh, here's the things I like about this movie. They're tweeting, well, look at what Anita Sarkeesian said. Look at this woke propaganda in this thing. Here we go again. Ugly female character in a game. There's a fat black woman in the Minecraft movie. Like, that's what I'm talking about. They're selling outrage. Everything they post is an attempt to get people mad about something. And because they're the ones pointing it out, well, now you have to come to me. You have to come to me to get that news, to get that information that you're mad about. Yeah, come to me. I will tell you the truth. So then they click on your videos, and then you start earning money and you start getting influence and you start getting power. That's a media grifter. That's what they do. But I provide examples of that. I give examples. Just let me get to it.
This is an inference. This is not after the fact. This is before. So if they call it and it happens, then they're right. If they call it and it doesn't happen, then they're wrong. But who cares?
What do you mean, who cares? That's the fucking thesis of the video, my dude. Is to disprove the notion that something, quote unquote, going woke does not mean it's going to go broke. That I'm debunking the saying. Like, what do you mean? Who cares? That's the fucking video you clicked on. That's like saying, you know, a guy made a video essay on Resident Evil, the Resident Evil movie series, right? And then he goes, well, who cares about Resident Evil? That's what you clicked on. You clicked on that specifically for that. That's what it is. That's what this video is. What do you mean, who cares? If they say something it got woke and it didn't go broke, that disproves the notion.
That's just their opinion. If it's after the fact and they go, oh, look, there's all these elements in the story that don't belong, and you call it being woke, then what's the problem?
What? That's not even a question. Okay, do you hear what he just said? He said, if after the fact they call something woke and they're pointing out things that they didn't like or whatever, then what's the problem? Where's the question? Because we're talking about going broke. So if they just said something was woke, you call whatever the fuck you want woke. Who cares? Y'all call every fucking thing woke. That's not the point here. The point is, it didn't go broke.
Successfully steel-manned their argument, so now let's melt it to the ground.
You didn't
First of all, the
steel-man
assertion that companies go broke by going woke is not supported by empirical evidence.
It is so much so that was it Forbes? I don't remember. That companies worldwide are pulling out of it.
You can hear him Googling. Okay. Again, these guys just apparently think I put things on the screen for my health. I am literally showing an actual study on this very topic. These products and advertising, right there, says it, third paragraph, 3.5 boost to shorter term sales and a more than 16% increase in the longer term. Remember, the thesis of this video is that when something goes woke, it does not go broke. That's the thesis of the video. I'm supporting that with evidence right now on the screen. I have an actual study on the very topic that we are talking about. Based on an analysis of 392 brands across 58 countries, the research, which claims to be the first of its kind, indicates the positive impact of inclusive advertising on outcomes. I have the study.
What you're reading is advertisement for...
What I'm reading is advertisement?
Or the adoption of this shit, not the result.
Okay, so earlier in the video, I showed Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers maligning Nike's decision to hire Colin Kaepernick as a spokesperson. Literally on the screen, I'm showing the financial outcome of that. Nike sales are up 31% since the Kaepernick campaign. Like, literal cause and effect. It doesn't get more blatant and black and white than that. A recent poll found a 10% increase in the number of Nike customers versus the general public who say a company should take a stand on social issues. There you go. It's just right there. It's right on the screen.
The advertisement is not the result. That's the same as with the communist bullshit.
See, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like the literal study that I showed was talking about financial success after the fact. That's what the study was talking about. It's talking about the result of that. I don't understand. Like, did he not understand the study? What are we talking about here?
That they promise utopia and deliver hell.
Promise utopia
and
deliver hell.
But it delivers utopia. Well, when has it ever done that? It has delivered hell. But you judge it by what it promises.
No, look, it's on the screen. What does that say right there? With an almost 3.5% boost to short-term sales and a more than 16% increase in the long term. Sales, you numpty. That's the end result. It seems to persuade 62% of buyers to choose a product and make 15% of shoppers more loyal. We are literally talking business right now. Those are real numbers.
Because you mistake the two for each other.
Right.
Or you ignore the latter, or you just ignore the outcome.
Smud, you got to cut him off. You got to stop this dude from talking. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Here is 500 cigarettes. Thank you, sir. Birdman scoffs at the idea of businesses being hurt by the inclusion of gay people and racial minorities, yet every time these products are released to China and the Middle East, those moments are furiously edited out. Why do you suppose that is, Turdman? Yeah, the whole idea of freedom of speech in the West and why we allow it compared to all those other countries who say this is crap.
Oh, yeah, like Spider-Man when they removed all of the trans shit and gay people dialogue and whatnot.
So I have an answer. A place like China is ethnically homogenous. They have... And again, I've been to places that are ethnically homogenous. You know, I've gone to Japan so many times that people think I live there now. An ethnically homogenous country has a very simplistic view of the world. They can be very complex in their own insular media. But when it comes to looking at the outside world, the way that they look at it is very simplistic. This is why when you look at like a Japanese manga, for example, the way that they depict like white Americans, very obvious. And this is why it's always funny to me when these white people go, well, anime is depicting white people. No, they're not. Because when they actually are depicting white people, it's very obvious. Your nose is going to be huge. Yeah, your hair is almost always going to be blonde because they don't think that white people with black or brown hair exist for some reason. Okay, your eyes are almost always going to be depicted as blue. Like they have a very simplistic view of white people that would then translate to like they would think black people are also very simplistic in their depictions, right? And since American media has depicted black people as, you know, thugs or gang members or, you know, like a lot of negative stereotypes or whatever. That's what they see. So they think that is how black people really are. It takes a very special person living in a homogenous country to not be that way. It's just natural for them to think like that because American media is very prolific and it's what you see it's the whole perception is reality thing. That's their perception. So that's their reality. That's what they think black people are. So if you have a homogenous country like that, that's why that type of thing happens. I wouldn't necessarily lean to racism. I wouldn't go, oh, they're racist because they're, you know, it would be a very nuanced conversation. And I think that that's something that gets lost in these things. Like the person who gave the super chat, I'm pretty sure they thought that was a gotcha moment. It's not really, though. You know, like I said, I have personal experience with people that are from homogenous countries. And I know the way that they look at the world is based on media. So that's really what it is. So yeah, I wouldn't immediately go they're racist or sexist or whatever. It would be a very nuanced conversation, and I would have to look at each individual case as a case by case. So that's my answer.
Then all of this stuff is okay. It's only this woke crap. All this crap is only pushed on countries that are neither socialist nor Islamic, and it is stuff that they know weakens a populace.
Weakens a populace. He's such a Hitler Youth. Like you could tell where he's going with this. It's Jesus. Come on, man. Shut up.
All right.
All right. Yeah. And I remember the whole they banned the mod that removes the people.
All right. These guys are clearly gooners. They want pornographic mods in games. I really don't care about this topic. So let's skip forward here. Look how long they stay on this. Are they even going to finish my video? Holy fuck, bro. And that guy had the fucking nerve to say, oh, 5 minutes, bitch. It's 1 hour, 15 fucking minutes and 51 seconds before you guys get to the 8th minute of my video. Come on, man.
Stock reached an all-time high within weeks. Apple is very obviously
When was that?
committed to inclusivity and diversity, and it remains
Wait.
the
That
most
has
valuable
nothing
company
to
on
do
Earth.
with Apple.
Wait. Show that graph again, please.
Apple's $1 trillion company. Oh, they remain blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
It's like,
How do they not realize this refutes their argument? They are woke. They're not broke. That's the point, you absolute morons. And I have to see where they're going with the Nike thing. Like, what is the argument here? Like, please.
yeah.
Okay, what is it? Oh, Nike stock surges.
That's in 2018.
Is
that
it?
was 6
Because
years ago.
What is it being 6 years ago have to do with anything? You remember, he asked, why is Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers a clown? This is why. He said this is the worst thing that they could do. This is a bad move. This is get woke, go broke. That's what he said. I then show the evidence that the opposite happened. Their stock price went up because of hiring Colin Kaepernick for that campaign. So asking me what the year has to do with anything, you're missing the fucking point. That the point is not, this is Nike today. I didn't say that. I was refuting the idea that go woke, go broke was a thing, because he said this is them getting woke, going broke, and they didn't go broke. That's the point. You guys are so oblivious. This is who they send for me, guys. This is who they send for the Birdman. Whenever I make a fucking video essay, these are the people that come after me. People that literally can't keep up with the video.
And that looks like, oh, look, there was a slump and then it got up. Can I see the other stuff further left?
As soon as you hit 20...
This is just a recovery?
Yeah, but as soon
So you want to cherry pick an example that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Can you scroll further to the left? What would that have to do with anything? We're talking about the period of time where Nike got woke and didn't go broke. Their sales actually went up. That's what we are talking about. Why are you trying to look at an example of them not doing the thing that we're talking about? If you go to the left, what would that prove?
Why is there this huge spike?
It doesn't matter. As soon as you hit 2020, all this goes to shit. So who cares?
In 2020, all this goes to shit. So who cares? I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over. A lot of things went to shit because of the fucking pandemic. I don't know what you think you're saying. A lot of companies went down because of the pandemic. It has nothing to do with what we are talking about. Like the fact that you think you said something is insane to me. You have to bring up ridiculous nonsense. It's on the screen. Nike stock price reaches all-time high after Colin Kaepernick ad. It's on the fucking screen. That's what I'm showing. Because of a global fucking pandemic happened has nothing to do with this.
There's a thing called the pandemic where the stock market crashed in March.
What does it have to do with anything, though?
Perfect. That's a perfect fucking soundbite. There you go. What does what he just said have to do with anything? I know he's saying something else, but like that coming on the heel of what Smud just said, brilliant. Steven Spielberg couldn't have scripted that better. Like, holy fucking shit. And to answer your question, other guy, this has to do with what I showed earlier. A guy saying something was going to go broke by going woke. Guess what? Didn't happen. That's what it has to do. That's what it has to do. Showing evidence of a company not going broke after going woke. There you go. That's the answer. Stupid. Let's skip ahead because these guys are so fucking stupid. It beggars belief.
Committed to inclusivity and diversity, and it remains the most valuable company on earth. Netflix has diversity initiatives.
Yeah, because its main customers are hipsters.
Yeah, but that.
Oh my God, that's not an answer. That's not an answer, bro. They are woke. They're not broke. So, like, this is my point. Okay. This is like the whole thing that I'm trying to get people to understand is that something going broke has an explanation. Like I'm looking through the chat here. Some people were mentioning Concord and other things like that. So those other things had an explanation that wasn't just, oh, it's woke. Because if the answer for things going broke is that, oh, it's woke, you have to account for these things not going broke because they're also woke. So there is another explanation. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. You're not providing any intellectual analysis, no scientific process. It's just, woke stuff, that's why it was broke. No, that's not the answer. Because you have to account for the things that don't go broke, which there are a lot, a fuck ton, as my study showed. 392 brands. 309. That's a lot of fucking brands, dude. And it was various things. They go woke. They didn't go broke. They actually saw an increase. So you have to explain it with something else. That's the point that I'm trying to make. It's not the wokeness that's doing it. It's something else. Maybe a game like Concord is bad. I didn't play Concord, so I don't really know. Maybe it's just bad. Maybe it just sucked. Have you thought about that? Plenty of woke games that do well. Like, wasn't The Last of Us Part 2 woke? Had a trans person in it, had a buff woman in it. What was the sales for that game? Let's take a look. All right, Part 2 is one of the best-selling PlayStation 4 games and the fastest-selling PlayStation 4 exclusive, with over 4 million units sold in its release weekend, over 10 million by 2022. I think that speaks for itself. And this was a game that was a game that people were shitting on before it came out. So I'm trying to figure out, what is the actual reason why things fail? Because it's clearly not wokeness. It's clearly not. That's the point that we're making here. Keep up, guys.
They have overpriced Linux boxes. That's it. And they got a bunch of apps that are compatible only with their hardware. Wow.
That's not an argument, Smud. That's not an argument. You're not arguing against what the fuck I just said. Apple is the biggest company on earth. They are very clearly dedicated to being what you guys call woke. Why aren't they going broke? You would have to show that they have some appreciable losses, and you can't show that. Because go woke, go broke is not a thing. That's the point, and it's going over your heads. Oh, why is he showing me things that are woke that aren't going broke? Why is he doing that? That's stupid.
Google turned evil, turned towards the ideology, and it has all these idiots running after it and cheering for it. Because that's how a cult works. Apple was already a cult. Google.
Oh, so okay, now they're doing well because they're a cult. Let's explore that for a sec. Wouldn't like a woke movie or video game appeal to that same cult? Like the woke cult, not the Apple cult, the woke cult. So that means that the woke cult would then spend money on that thing because it's a cult, right? So that would necessarily mean that nothing should ever go broke because there's always going to be that cult. You know, the woke cult should buy the thing. Your arguments are incongruous here, and you're scrambling. And I love this. He's scrambling because I got him. They're going off on complete and utter tangents about other things that are not the focus of this video. Got him.
Needless to say, there are countless.
You could mention no mention. You make no mention of.
What's really funny about this? Reacting to my avatar. Look, nigga, dude, there's a Spider-Man right there. Like, what are we talking about? What is this?
The companies that did go broke because of the woke products they made.
Yeah.
No. You have to demonstrate it was the wokeness that caused them to go broke. I showed evidence. Where's yours? I provided a study that showed things that have woke elements, so-called woke elements, 16% in the long term, 3% in the short term. Where's yours? Where's yours that show it going down? The way you look at the thing is you go, okay, this thing failed. Okay, it failed because there were woke elements in it. Instead of like actually looking at what like the evidence for it, like the reason why a thing failed. You go, oh, well, it had a woke element, that must be why. That's like me looking at the same game and going, oh, there's a tree in the game. That means that's why the game failed. That would be just as fucking stupid. This is the causation correlation dichotomy. You don't have actual evidence. That's the reason why a game failed. You guys bring up Concord so often. Great. Why don't other woke games fail? What's the reason? Because it seems to me your argument for Apple was that, oh, well, they're a big company, they're overpriced. So fantastic. That means that the reason The Last of Us Part 2 didn't fail was that they had the cachet. So a game like Concord failed because they didn't have the cachet. You have to eliminate the common denominator to find the thing that is the reason why something failed or succeeded. That's how this works. I can tell you guys did not do well in science or math class. That is blatantly obvious to me.
Yeah,
Like,
but you make woke Star Wars dies. You make woke Mass Effect dies.
Talk about the
make woke. Yeah,
like,
but you make woke Star Wars dies. You make
woke Star Wars dies. Are we talking about like the movies? Because each one of the Rey movies made at least $1 billion. First one made $2 billion. Second one made like 1.5. Third made like 1 point something. I forget the numbers off the top of my head, but I've seen these numbers so many times. So yeah. And what they'll do is, in response to that, they'll go, well, each subsequent movie made less than the previous one. Well, I mean, again, there are many different reasons why one movie would make more money than another movie. You can't just automatically go, oh, woke. That's not scientific. It's anti-intellectual. Okay, you have to actually study it and actually provide the examples and provide the evidence for why something failed. And again, each one of those movies made $1 billion. Each actually Star Wars movie where a woman is the main protagonist has made $1 billion. Each one of them, every single one. There are 4, if I'm not mistaken. Rogue One, $1 billion. Episodes 7 through 9, each made $1 billion. The one where it starred a man, Solo, failed at the box office. Now, I'm not saying the movies fail because of men. I wouldn't say that because that would be stupid, right? But, you know, he also brings up Mass Effect, which the thing about BioWare games is they've always been inclusive and, you know, woke, quote unquote, woke. They've always done well. Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time. And yeah, you can have a lesbian relationship. You can have a gay relationship in those games. You can make your character look however you want. And, you know, what's the game called? The Veil Guard, Dragon Age. That game follows BioWare's long history of being, you know, quote unquote, woke and inclusive, whatever you guys want to call it. And y'all say that, well, that game failed because woke. But it's like their games have always been like that. They're just doing the same thing that they've always done. And I haven't played the Veil Guard. It's not really to my taste. I'm not huge on fantasy games like that. So I don't know the exact reason for the game's perceived failure. But what I can say is that it's a BioWare game, guys. Like they've been doing that.
Make woke Mass Effect dies.
Talk about the AI influence in the past.
No, see, he just, that's what I'm saying. He's equating wokeness to being the reason why something fails. And it's a perfect example with Mass Effect, right? Mass Effect 3 had a bad audience reaction because of the endings. It had nothing to do with the fact that the game was woke, because all 3 games were woke. Now, Andromeda, I don't even remember what happened with Andromeda. Like, did it fail? Was it positively received? I don't remember. But Andromeda was something that came out after 3 where people were upset with the ending and how 3 ended. You know, you had 3 colors. You had red, green, blue. So that was why people disliked 3, even though the game was phenomenal. It's a great fucking game. The best combat in any Mass Effect game, period. Well, maybe not, you know, Andromeda's probably better, but this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly my point. He does not actually look into why something was maligned by an audience. Because if he did, he would come away with, well, Mass Effect failed because of or Mass Effect 3 had a bad audience reaction because of the endings. I was there, so I know that for a fact. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's just a clown. And the comments, man, they just, I love the chat right now. Blanca deserves more respect. Motherfucker, do you know who I am? You're looking at the #1 Blanca player on PlayStation in the world. Me. Look up the rankings for Street Fighter 4. Me. Number 1. Now, currently, it says number 2. Let's look that up real fast. I want to show y'all something. All right, so here you go. In the rankings, if I go to Blanca, skip past him. Would you look at that? Look who is at the top. Now, you'll see that this Japanese guy is in first place, and I'm in second place. This is the world, by the way. So you can see it's not just American flags, it's all flags. And this guy that's in number 1 boosted to get past me. So this is not a real ranking. I'm actually number 1 in the world, and I had been number 1 in the world for like 7 straight years. You can actually find people uploading videos of me on YouTube because they beat me. And obviously they're not going to upload me beating them. So it's a big deal when you beat the number 1 guy. I am a Street Fighter player. My main is Blanca. Like when you click on me, you can see. I don't know. Why does that say main character Dalsim? That's just so wrong. But like I've been playing with Dalsim, the network battles, but like not ranked. So for some reason, I guess I've been playing with Dalsim more. So they have him as my main character, but obviously not. He's not my main character. Anyway, my main character is Blanca, and I play with Blanca. I've been playing with Blanca since like 1992. And that's why my avatar is Blanca. Is because I'm a Street Fighter player. This is what I was known for. I was a part of a fighting game clan for the longest. I was our resident Blanca player. And, you know, when I had started uploading videos on YouTube, I didn't have an avatar. So I was like, hey, I'm a Blanca player. Let me just, you know, use Blanca's visage. And that's why Blanca is my avatar. So for you to sit here and suggest that Blanca deserves more respect, well, you're looking at the respect, motherfucker. I am Blanca, nigga. I am the guy. That's me. Anybody want to see me in this game? Step up. Anyway,
let's just go.
He's adopting progressive policies, and the term minority that espouse this mantra have no idea what they're talking about. But you're probably thinking, well, those aren't movies. What about movies? And I was thinking,
you know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Crazy Rich Asians, one of the few major Hollywood films with an all-Asian cast, budget of $30 million, grossed $238 million. Get Out, a film focused exclusively on how white people use black people for their own aims, budget of $4.5 million, grossed $255 million.
Has these so this is your problem.
I love it. We got him.
These films, do they have good stories? Are they well acted? That's what makes a good movie.
Ooh, I love that. You finally said something correct. Holy shit. We got to clap it up for this motherfucker. Like, where's my applause? Good job, you racist piece of shit. It's almost like there are other reasons why movies do well or fail. Exactly my point. I don't even want to let him talk anymore. Like that's it. I'm gonna let you live on that and that alone. Let's skip past this shit and get back to my video. Cause thank you. That's exactly my fucking point, dipshit.
An animated film with themes about prejudice, stereotypes, and inclusion. Budget of $150 million, grossed $1 billion.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. They don't like the examples because it proves them wrong. I love this. This is one of the main reasons why I like watching people's reactions to my work, because I always prove my point. And I love seeing them have to scramble to bullshit their way. I love it. This is why I love making videos. Like videos like these. People always go, Birdman, you got to debate. You got to blah, blah. But the problem with the debate is that you see how the way that they talk and they go off on tangents, and it's hard to get a point across and it's hard to make the point. This is why I make the video, because I can make my points and they have to scramble. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is great. This is just good. I feel so vindicated.
Oh, you mean the one where the use secretly control society? That was fun.
Not an argument. You have not refuted. that this movie was woke and it made $1 billion.
Control everything.
I saw bits and pieces of it, but that was like with my cousins. They were watching it.
I skipped past a little bit because earlier they said the movies that I showed, they hadn't seen these movies. I wonder if someone made the point that you guys actually don't like watch movies. I wonder who made that point. But you talk about these things like you know what you're talking about. And I love it. I love this. I love that you guys just admit you haven't even seen these things. I love it. Somehow you're trying to refute me though, but you haven't seen it. Amazing. Oh, so good.
Yeah, but I don't think he gets the issue with this movie. Because guess what? You have different city quarters for different animals. Because
a lot of white supremacists do this, that, when you have a homogenous society is better.
Well, they don't really, it doesn't really make sense to have them all in the same place.
Exactly my point. He's doing the thing where white supremacists go, well, yeah, the races need to be separate from each other. That's the thing that they do. So let's skip his nonsensical white supremacist Mein Kampf bullshit and get to the rest of the video. Fuck's sake.
Of animals and also features a character that is gender swapped and a character that is race swapped.
What's the argument?
Which character is gender swapped?
The character that is gender swapped is Cosmo the dog. It's a she in the MCU. It's male in the comics.
I don't know.
They don't know because they don't know what they're talking about.
I forgot. Is there something like that?
I don't know. I never watched it.
You never watch one of the biggest movies of the year. This is what I'm talking about. They don't watch movies. Why are these the people that come after a person like me who actually watches these things? That's what I said earlier. Y'all don't watch movies.
I did watch it, but I remember very little about it. And the animal thing was stupid.
The animal thing was stupid? Oh, he's talking about he's talking about the otter and the walrus. Like, dude, those are characters from the comics. You're watching a comic book movie and suggesting that they're stupid. This doesn't make sense. Like, that's like saying, Batman wearing a suit, a cowl, and jumping from rooftops. That's stupid. It's like, that's what's in the books, though. Like, if you're going to make a Batman movie, you have to depict that. You're making a Rocket Raccoon movie. Those characters are from his books. Let me show you them. Here you go. Right here. This is Lady Lila. This is the character that appears in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You see right here, she debuted in The Incredible Hulk number 271, February 1982. I'm willing to bet this is either close to the people, to their age, or older than their age, meaning the character is either about the same age as them or older than them. Stupid though, right? This is stupid to include the stuff from the comics while making a comic book movie. This is stupid.
Hey, let's save the critters, because some of them might have been uplifted.
Exactly my point. This is the point, guy. It's a woke ideology thing that they put in the movie, and the movie didn't go broke. It's about animal welfare, which, I would venture a guess that the vast majority of people who are anti-woke don't give a fuck about, and the people who are woke care about. There's a black man in the movie that was race swapped from a white character in the comics to a black man in the film, in The High Evolutionary. Then you had Cosmo. She is a female in the MCU, but a male in the comics. Like, that's a trifecta. What's the problem? Or he likes this one, right? This is the one he likes, the German dude. You got 3 things, buddy, that makes the movie woke. Didn't fail. Why? Why didn't it fail? What happened? It must have been good. Must have been actually good. So that must mean if something is woke but is good, it won't fail, right? So that must mean that it's not something being woke that makes it fail. It's something that, something else. Could be the fact that the movie is bad or whatever. I keep repeating myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's risk all our lives and the children especially for that.
It does not surprise me that the Hitler Youth dislikes the woke thing in the movie. But like, that's exactly my point, dude, is that there was something woke, but it didn't fail. And you just proved it by saying, well, boom, I don't like that woke thing. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, and it didn't fail. Idiot.
I also want to add too that this is the third movie, so it already has this reputation that people will go see it anyways. I think that's kind of.
Oh, so something has a big reputation. That must mean that they're going to see it anyway. Oh, fantastic. That's what a great argument. Then you're going to have to explain things like Dragon Age, the Veil Guard, right? That's the thing you guys said was woke. And according to y'all, it failed. But, it has a history of games that people really like. You see how none of your arguments actually work? They don't map onto reality. This idea that, the movie made a lot of money because, it has a history and people wanted to go see it. There are other things that are good. Like the other movies are woke too. I can name so many woke things in the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy is like the most diverse group in the MCU right now. They have a fucking sentient tree on the team. They're literal aliens on the team. Like what? Anyway, and another stupid comment. SmudBoy, he's a big PETA guy. Holy fucking shit. These guys are so stupid. These guys are so dumb. I made a joke about the critical drinker going after PETA. It was like random. He just randomly went after PETA. And I was like, this guy is even going after PETA. And that was enough for the realist metal to suggest I'm a big PETA guy. I don't give a flying fuck about PETA. These people are like, this is what happens in these echo chambers. Like, this type of shit will get repeated over and over until it becomes reality for them. But it's a clear fiction. I was making fun of the Joker, or the drinker, for randomly going at PETA because apparently this seems to be a woke thing for them. PETA's woke, right? So he went at, that's what I'm talking about. Like, this motherfucker will even go after PETA in his grift. I don't give a fuck about PETA. Couldn't care less. I just thought it was funny that he went after PETA for like just random. It was random. That's what I said. That's all I said. But I'm a big PETA guy. Like, Jesus Christ, the shit that these people just make up is insane to me.
Oh, one of these. See, this is what I think is just a modern version of blaxploitation, where they focus so much on the side character in history that had.
That's what I'm talking about. I said that earlier, that these people view black people and like other minority groups as just pawns on a chessboard that's, against them, in a game that's against them. He just called these women side characters. These people were integral to sending man to the moon. Integral. Do you know what that word means? But he called them side characters. This is the problem. This is one of my things about grifters and anti-intellectuals. This whole anti-intellectual sort of movement where we malign scientists. These women were scientists and mathematicians. They were incredibly important to the mission. Because without science, you ain't going nowhere. Science is the basis of everything that we do. These women were the scientists and mathematicians that helped us get to the moon. But they're side characters? Side characters? Well, guess what then? That is probably why there's a movie made about them. Because they were hidden. Yeah, this was during a time where racism was really rampant and there was Jim Crow laws and, segregation. And yet and still, these people help send man to the moon. That seems like a story worth telling, don't it? I mean, how many fucking movies can you make about Buzz Aldrin? How many can you make? What about the people that helped get him there? Are they not important? Side characters. That's how you view these people. You are like beyond a piece of shit. You're not even a piece of shit anymore. You're diarrhea.
Do we even need to explain this one?
Yes,
please.
yes, of course. Because
I would love it.
Barbie was an anomaly. People watched it for Ryan Gosling, and Barbie was such a great is the wrong word, but it completely did the opposite of what it wanted to achieve.
Scrambled eggs. You are so scrambled right now, it's not even funny. Barbie is an anomaly. I'm showing multiple films, but Barbie's the anomaly. That's what I'm talking about. They ignore all the evidence that disproves their bullshit. Just ignoring it. Hidden Figures was about side characters. So that's why it made money. Get Out, I didn't even see that one. So I can't come up with a bullshit explanation for why that made money. People went to go see Barbie because of Ryan Gosling. Stop the cap, okay? Stop the fucking cap. I went there on I had the double feature. I went to see this and Oppenheimer in the same day. A lot of people went for that. But in my theater, when I tell you the amount of people wearing Barbie shit, like people were dressed up in pink, they were wearing heels, it was a whole fucking thing. I should have taken photos because I would love to show y'all photos of this. It wasn't because of Ryan Gosling, my dude. Nobody was dressing up as Ken, at least when I was there. And I live in Los Angeles, so we have some of the biggest theaters here in the United States, and some of the most crowded fucking theaters in the United States, some of the most expensive theaters in the United States, and it was insane. The line outside of my theater was around the door, women dressed up to the nines to dress up as Barbie. It was really cool. It was actually pretty, it was a good thing for the culture, I thought. And it turned out to be a good fucking movie. And he's trying to argue that the movie did the opposite of its message, which is, it made men sympathetic characters, which I'm pretty sure that was like the goal, because like that was the script. So I don't know where you're trying to go with that. That doesn't even make sense. But that has nothing to do with why people went to go see it. You have to go see a thing before you know anything about it, before you know that Ryan Gosling was a great character in the film. People went to go see it and then they came away with, oh, it's good. And if your argument is, oh, well, they went to go see it because of Ryan Gosling, explain Fall Guy. Explain Blade Runner 2049. Ryan Gosling has kind of a track record of fails. I would actually argue people went to go see this because of it's Barbie. It's a very popular toy. And also, very popular actress in Margot Robbie. And yes, Ryan Gosling. He's a part of it. He's a part of the calculus. But when he's the headliner, kind of got a bad track record. And I love the guy. I think he's phenomenal. But he's not the reason, my dude. Like, this is Cope. Skip.
Who won an award for the movie? A man.
I wonder what that has to do with anything. A woman, Greta, she wrote a good male character and he won an award. So are awards what matter? Are awards like what are you saying about that? Because like I got a woman that was nominated for an award, but they said she shouldn't be in the Minecraft movie.
Well, we're gonna go for.
He's enough.
I'm gonna go for another minute. He's just listing movies that he likes.
Yeah.
I'm listing movies that I like. I'm listing movies that were woke and made money. You fucking idiot.
This is fun.
We're gonna jump to the end. This is silly.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna skip
$4 billion.
I can't stop winning.
Wonder Woman, a film about the feminist icon with themes of female empowerment. Budget of one.
Have you read the early Wonder Woman? Probably didn't. Where she constantly gets roped up and spanked, put over the knee, and this is great. Well, wonderful feminist icon. His definitions and criteria for why a film is woke are completely arbitrary, pick and choose, and on everything that succeeded is mine.
Oh, I love that. Oh man, another round of applause for the dipshit. It's almost like your guys' definition for the word woke is arbitrary and is incredibly broad, right? How does he not realize he's debunking their own argument? I love that. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, phenomenal work. Phenomenal work. Good job, idiot.
Black Panther and its sequel, I think you get the point. If Go Woke, Go Broke, or even
Oh, you mean the movies that pandered to the not so smart black socialist suburban demographic of the United States?
The not so smart socialist urban demographic of the United States. Here's what they think of you. Here's what they think of you. Here's what they think of you. Somebody did this to me in the comment section. They said, why didn't you post the amount of money the Black Panther movies made? And I was taken aback. I'm like, I said they made all the money, like, on the screens. I didn't understand like what they were trying to say. And like they came across like they didn't make a lot of money or something. I don't really remember the interaction that well. But I was confused. I'm like, what's the problem with the way that I did it? The guy in this video is doing the same thing. He said, no, what? What is the argument? Black Panther 2, if memory serves, made over $800 million, almost $1 billion. The first movie made $1 billion and something. I said Black Panther and its sequels made all the money. That they made just about $2 billion. The series is worth $2 billion. Let me just look the numbers up so we can be accurate here. All right, so Black Panther, the first one made 1.3, and let's go Black Panther 2 box office, and it made 800 million. So it made about $2.1 billion. So what's the problem? What is the problem? And again, like, this is like, do we hear what the Hitler Youth is saying? He said they're pandering to the, he called black people low intelligence or whatever. He says they're pandering to that particular demographic. Well, isn't that the whole argument, that something is woke? If something is woke, it's pandering to a certain group. Yes. Right. Okay, fantastic. Then that thing made money, so it didn't go broke. You're not arguing against what I'm saying, and you don't realize it. But I really want to know what the other guy was trying to say with the money thing for Black Panther films.
That was a complete race fest and nothing else. The black urban Americans that cheered for the alleged portrayed African Americans in Wakanda doing...
No. This fucking, the Hitler Youth. Jesus. All right, look, so very quickly, the first movie is about how Black Americans and Black Africans have this schism. Okay, and this is real life. This is something you wouldn't know being a fucking German Hitler Youth. Black Americans are originally from Africa. We were from West Africa, the vast majority of us. Some of us are a little bit from, some of East Africa, some of Central Africa as well. But the majority of us here, our ancestors are from West Africa. Once Black Americans were brought over, they developed their own culture. This is where the word woke comes from. It's from that culture. Because there's been 400 years of this, their roots have been lost. So Black Americans are now a part of the American fabric. My point is, these groups are different from each other. Even now, you can see this if you go on Twitter, if you go on Black Twitter, you will see this. Sometimes Black Americans are fighting with Black Africans because of the culture differences. And I'm not going to get into that whole thing because I really don't care about it. I love all Black people. But the point is, there's a schism. So the film is representing that schism. So in Wakanda, they're a very insular sort of technological marvel. They don't have outreach programs, and they just kind of take care of their own. Black Americans, on the other hand, had to go through slavery while Wakanda was prosperous. This is where the character of Killmonger comes in. Killmonger goes, well, where the fuck were y'all when they abducted us and they put us through all those horrors? What did y'all do? Y'all didn't take care of us. And he was right. Killmonger was right. Now, Killmonger turned out to be a villain. You know, he went about his goals in villainous ways, but he had a point. He's like the sympathetic villain. It's a very common trope in fiction. The hero of the film, Black Panther, T'Challa, realized that Killmonger was right. He had a point. Why didn't we do anything? We needed to take care of those people when we had the ability to do so. That was the point of that film. And they have the fight at the end because, you know, again, Killmonger, he's sympathetic, but he's villainous. So you had to defeat the villain. That was the point of the first movie. Now, you didn't know any of that, Hitler Youth, because you're a piece of shit that looks at black movies as, oh, that's just woke trash. You didn't get any of that. And that's why, you know, the story didn't connect with you. Whatever. I'd be surprised if you even saw the fucking film.
Monkey dances and monkey noises.
It just the blatant racism. I wonder if this video is going to get yellow dollar signs. It's probably gonna get demonetized for this because, like, holy fuck, he just said that black people are doing monkey noises and monkey like come on, bruv. Like, Hitler Youth
in the movie.
Skip. We're not even gonna listen to him anymore.
Many more. Usually the response to this is to name the same small handful of films that are exceptions to the rule, like Ghostbusters, Charlie's Angels, and the Marvels. Strange.
They're not the exceptions to the rule. They are the rule.
They are the exceptions to the rule. Shut the fuck up, Hitler Youth.
Movies, only to constantly bring up the few that bombed, unaware of why.
The few?
Yeah.
Marvel?
The many.
The few. Did he say Marvel? Bruv. The vast majority of Marvel movies make money. The vast majority. The Marvels was the first flop. The first. Number one. They haven't had any subsequently, and there's been a couple movies that came out after the Marvels. Hold on, what movies came after the Marvels? I can't remember off the top of my head. So, Marvel Phase 5. All right, so Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That was not a flop. It didn't make a lot of money, but none of the Ant-Man movies do. Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously, we just showed that made almost $1 billion. The Marvels flopped. Deadpool and Wolverine, not a flop. It made over $1 billion. So Captain America, that's going to be interesting. I wonder what the movie's going to do. I think the movie's going to make money. I think the film's going to be in the $500 to $600 million range. Now, I could be wrong about that, but hey, that's what a prediction is. Could be wrong, could be right. I don't know about the Thunderbolts. I have slightly lower expectations for that film. I think in the $400, $500 million range. But yeah, so there you go. Made money. Now, let's go to Phase 4, which is the one that everybody hates for whatever reason. Phase 4. Black Widow was released during the pandemic, doesn't count. Shang-Chi, released during the pandemic, doesn't count. But I think this still kind of made like the most money for the pandemic. Let's just double check that real fast. All right, here we go. And was the first film of the pandemic era to surpass 200 million in the United States and Canada. So, like, you know, it was during the pandemic, but it still surpassed expectations, right? So Eternals, let's look at the box office for that. Box office for Eternals. Or actually, I don't even have to scroll down here. I can just go right here. So budget 236. They made just about double their budget. You know, what these grifters and parrots like to do is go, well, what about marketing? Well, there are no actual figures on marketing, so you can't include that. You just have to go by what you can actually see. There's no evidence is the point. So they made just about double. So not much. Spider-Man No Way Home. Obviously, this is, you know, again, this is Phase 4. That made what, $2 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1.9 billion. There you go. Obvious non-flop. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. For some reason, this movie has had the most revisionist history I've ever seen. This film was loved when it first came out. For some reason, like on Twitter, people are going, oh, this movie fucking sucks. No, it doesn't. Okay. Right there, $1 billion, just under $1 billion. It's right here, $955 million. Not a flop, obviously. Thor Love and Thunder, the most hated Marvel film probably ever. Guess how much money that made, guys? $700 million on a $250 million budget. So obviously not a flop. This is, again, Phase 4. And then Black Panther, we already saw what that made. What are you talking about? What movies flopped? besides the Marvels. And look, let's look at what a flop means for Marvel. So like when you look at the Marvels, look at this. The budget was more than the box office. Now, I've already explained what happened with this film, so I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, okay, flop. There you go. It made less money than it cost to make. That's what a flop looks like. No other Marvel film fits that mold. Not a one. What are you talking about, other guy?
The many.
How many years has Marvel been bombing?
How many years has Marvel been bombing? One. Not even a year. I mean, just one movie. I just showed the evidence. Like, I'm not going to go into it. Let's skip past this because they just don't know what they're talking about.
Because that implies wokeness is what makes movies fail. And I just gave you movies with so-called woke themes that were massive success.
How are they woke themes?
How is Barbie a woke? Okay.
How is Barbie woke? I think we can end the video here. Yeah, because I can't take any more of this shit. There's a reason why, these guys are where they are. They're not good at this. They don't know what they're talking about. They hate facts and evidence. They love their little bubble that they live in where everything woke fails and they don't even know what woke is. But, so that was the Smudcast 818 where they look at my video. They have another one where they look at I think the Critical Drinker video. And, they said some things about Critical Drinker that like they don't really like him, seems like. No, I don't want to ascribe any, like just the way that they spoke about him earlier when I was talking about him in my video, they seem to not like him. So that would be interesting. Maybe, the things that I'm talking about the Critical Drinker for, it would be interesting to know what it is that they say. I haven't seen that video. I don't give a shit to watch it. Obviously, like, look at this bullshit. Like, ugh. This is why, like if you just like look at their chat, it's all Birdman haters. So not all of them. I don't want to say all. I want to say something anti-scientific. I'm not going to say all. A lot of them were anti-Birdman. So like this is the congregation, right? It's the people that just dislike me for whatever reason. Like one guy was talking about me talking about religion that had nothing to do with this video. So that's my point. So yeah, like this is just brain rot. And my brain is a little bit smoother for having watched it. So now I'm at 140 IQ instead of 141. So anyway, that's been this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure some of their ridiculous audience might come into the comment section for this video. Just be aware, I'm in my comment section, guys. So anyway, I'll see y'all later. Take it easy. Peace.